We have a DRS cluster, we have vMotions, we have storage vMotions, fault tolerance. These are some advanced features. People who have done the vSphere ICM training, it means they have done this whole stuff in a very detail. But some of you are doing first time this VMware training. So for you, I need to explain a little bit vSphere stack. Everyone must need to understand vSphere stack, what it is, how we can build our vSphere stack by using the VMware technologies. And then we're going to slowly discuss if we face any kind of problem in our existing vSphere environment. So you should know the right approach. What is the right approach? From where we can start our investigation. So that's all we're going to see. You can fix various vSphere problems caused by misconfiguration and system failures. So most of the time, most of the problems we face in the vSphere environment because of people are not expert in that technologies. We often make mistake while we doing something. Edge cluster we're going to configure. We're going to prepare our environment for the vMotion. We're going to access the storage. So many mistakes we often make. So this actually course entirely focused for that. vSphere problem caused by misconfigurations. What kind of misconfigurations that we're going to see? Because virtualization environment is very different than the physical environment, all we know very well. So this is your hypervisors, ESXi, and somewhere you could be SAN or NAS storage. Where your virtual machine exists. And this is because of network storage. Virtual machine we have registered in the ESXi who's taking all the resources from the ESXi who's accepted in the storage. But they performing all its read-write in the available data store. So it could be a SAN, it could be a NAS, IP-based storage, or it could be your fiber channel storage where we have virtual machine related all the files. So whenever we face any problem, virtual machine performing very slowly, while you put the virtual machine taking a long time, while you put your credential taking a long time to visit its desktop. So where is the problem? Problem might be within a virtual machine. Problem might be we can have at the hypervisor level. A problem might be we have in this network, physical networks, or problem we have at the storage level. So from where we need to start our investigation whenever we face any problem. So there are multiple areas where you need to start your investigation, but from where I need to start my investigation, how we comes to know what kind of approach we need to use. So that all we're going to discuss in this video. So when you power on any virtual machine, is the hypervisor job to access the storage, then most important file for any virtual machine -flat.vmdk, put it, fetch its all data over the network and load into its physical RAM. So this portion of physical RAM belongs to this virtual machine. So running powered on virtual machine, always we have in the ESXi host physical RAM. In this ESXi host we could have several virtual machines. So it means what is all virtual machine taking all the required resources in terms of CPU, memory, network bandwidth from this ESX, even from the storage, storage also they're taking from the ESXi, because first we need to make this storage available to the ESXi, then virtual machine can use this. So by the end of this course, you should be able to meet the following objectives. Use the vSphere client. All we know, most of the time we use this vSphere client in order to do our day-to-day jobs, but we also need to understand the CLI. What are the different CLI we have to access vSphere environment? And this is also very important. You cannot achieve all your 100% required things by using the GUI interface such as vSphere client. You must need to know the command line management also. And we also equally needs to investigate the logs file of vCenter server, logs file of ESXi. A lot of informations we grab from the logs file whenever we face any problem. How we exactly comes to know who makes who made what kind of changes inside, what exactly happened, by which services, that also becomes to know through these logs file. So once we understand the problem is what and relevant log files we need to find, and what are those logs files, where the location of the logs file, so we can understand the problem in order to diagnose or correct the problem. Describe troubleshooting principles and procedures. That also equally important. Otherwise, we don't know from where we need to start our investigation. That also we're going to see. Principles and procedures. Troubleshooting networking problems and recover from these problems. Analyze storage failure scenario. As I explained, problems sometimes might be exist at the storage end, and we are trying to investigate and trying to solve at the ESX side. First of all, we must need to know where, in which end exactly the problem exists. At the storage end, or at the host end, or at the physical network level we have a problem. So first we need to investigate, and then we can understand. Once we understand, while understanding the problem, that time we need the entire architecture-wise understanding. Problem related HA, then make sure you are completely well known all about architecture of HA, how HA works, what are different policies supported by the HA, and which one we currently using. Then you can start understand. You can understand, is there something configured wrong in the HA policies, in the HA configurations. If we don't know how the HA architecture works, then we cannot figure out the problem. Troubleshoot vSphere cluster failure scenarios and analyze possible causes. So, as I explained, we don't know what is HA, what is the architecture of HA, what are different policy of HA. We cannot expect from ourselves to solve any HA related problem. We can define whether the problem belongs to HA or it is something else. So we must need to understand all the complete vSphere stack along with its all the feature functions such as HA, vMotion, DRS, main features we have. And troubleshooting vCenter server related problems. What it is, what is the importance of vCenter server, and relevant problems we also going to discuss. ESXi level problems. What happens if suddenly hardware level failure occurs? We should know how the HA works, how it helps in that case. VMs level problems also we're going to cover. VMs not getting power on, and some problems related to snapshot. You are not able to revert to virtual machines. So these sort of VM level problems also we're going to see and discuss. So you can see We have here course introduction. Next 5 minutes, we're going to finish it. So we end up only with 7 modules. So per day, almost 1 module we only need to complete. As I explained, we have a less theory, no labs. And this course-related things, if you really want to gain some benefits, you must need to show your 100% interest for the labs. Because many of you doing first VMware training, so I will explain first. Not with the complete detailed information, but I will do at my level best. So, like when we start troubleshooting regarding networking, so first I will try to explain the virtual network, how it is different than the physical network, and a little bit about stories. When we start the cluster, first I will explain the cluster architecture so you can understand the relevant problems. Then troubleshooting virtual machines related some problems, and vCenter or ESXi level problems, right? So today's our target is to cover the second and third module, where we're going to see what are the right approach, what are different approach we have in order to understand the nature of the problem, where we want to begin our all the investigation related to the problem. That all we're going to see in the introduction to troubleshooting module. Some tools like vSphere client we have, host client we have, that is both gives you the GUI interface, graphical user interface, but we have some also CLI tools. So what are those CLI tools? How we can use those CLI? That also we're going to see in the module 3. So today's our goal is to cover second module, third module. Tomorrow onwards, we're going to see some script-based labs. So you're going to access your remote lab environment where the given script you need to run, and that going to create some problems. The script going to break your existing vSphere environment, and we need to figure out what exactly the problem is. And once we understand the problem, and we also need to find the solution, how we can resolve this kind of problem. So here we're going to see tomorrow onwards networking related to many problems, storage related problem, HGDRS cluster related problems, VMs level problem, and at the last we're going to see vCenter or ESXi. So very soon you're going to receive one mail from the VMware in which you will get one license code. By using that code, you can redeem your ebooks. You're going to get 2 ebooks, one as a lecture manual, another one is your lab manual. So let me know once you receive this mail how you can get these 2 ebooks. So once you get this book, you can see the same picture, what you're looking here, as it is given in your books. So along with theory. So you can see some words given in a monospace form, like this is ESXtop, one of the performance and monitoring command, ESXtop. If you are familiar with top in a Linux commands, it is the replacement as ESXtop or ESXtop. And this is also something you can find in the ebook, given is as a monospace but bold. Like ipconfig is one of the famous command of DHCP. And one of the common, most of the times we use this, in ESXi configuration. All kind of configuration we can find, we can do generally in this tab. That is given in this forum, and some URL are given in the italic forum. So you can see, if you want to enhance your knowledge regarding vSphere networking, how you can secure your vSphere environment, vSphere virtual machines administration. So, but in these 5 days, we do not need to access that. That contain very huge contents. So right now, we need to focus only for the contents, whatever contents given in your ebook. That is enough to understand this course related all the stuffs. But yes, after the training, you are looking some more information might be regarding DRS cluster, SG cluster, vMotions or others. How virtual machine obtain the resources, what are the different sort of memory reclamation techniques, works like ballooning, memory compression, swapping. So in that case, we can use these URL. And you can see all these URLs starting from the same docs.vmware.com. You even can directly access docs.vmware.com and make a search, just like a Google search. You're looking for, let's say, fiber channel storage, vSAN storage, or vSphere networking. Just make a search and find the appropriate links. Or directly, you can also go to this vSphere high availability, vCenter installation and setup related all information, storage related information. Monitoring performance related, you can see documents, ESX installation and setup, how we can install our ESXi host. If you have never installed, you can follow all the instructions. vSphere command lines interface references and command lines CLI tools we have. We're going to cover that also. vSphere related other documents like whenever we deploy we prepare our vSphere environment, how we comes to know that how many virtual switch I can have in the ESXi and how many virtual machine I can have in the HA clusters. VMs can have maximum how many virtual CPU, how many virtual disk. So that all comes to know through the max config document. So here, VMware put all the max configuration information. You can see there are a lot of max config covered, like how many data store as a ESXi we can access from the ESXi. How much maximum resources in a one ESXi we can have. And those numbers vary from the vSphere version to version. That depends which vSphere version you are using. So in the same link, you can see you have option. Max config, you are going to check from the vSphere 7, vSphere 6.5, 6.0, you have a multiple options. So you also have one communities.vmware.com where you can see several existing pre-created communities by the VMware, communities for vSphere, communities for Horizon, communities for other VMware products like NSX, Site Recovery Manager, Realized Operation Manager. So you can join specific or multiple. The advantage, day-to-day problem you are facing, take a screenshot, post it in the relevant communities. If you're facing any problem related to vSphere, join the vSphere community and put inside, post that your problems. Snapshot, screenshot with the detailed information. Since you done what changes you facing this problem, and this post gets distributed among all the members worldwide. And most of the time, whatever problem we facing, some people already faced that same problem long ago. They knew the solution. So they know the solution and they come with, okay, go to this KB article, go to this website where you can see some relevant information. Some technical documents from where you can download. And this is also, I hope most of you are aware about this. If not, you must need to know the labs we have available in this link as a free labs. And these labs are available 24/7 by 365 days. Labs for vSphere, labs for your optimized scale, labs for Horizon or other VMware core products. All the time we have free labs available, and it's not like you're doing this training or course. This is available publicly. You can share this link with your colleague, and also one time sign up, and then within just 2-3 minutes lab becomes available. You want to test something regarding vSAN, vSphere, Horizon or other VMware technology, all labs will have available. Initially it gives you 1.30 minutes, 1 hour 30 minutes, which you can expand each time. So 14 hours continuously you can enjoy the same lab. 14 hours over, automatically labs get closed. You can again make a same process, and again you will get the new labs for next 14 hours again. But within a 14 hours, with the same configuration what you are doing, you can use it. So this is a cool thing. You do not need to prepare your home-based lab. Anything you want to test, just connect to this link, and within you can see 2 to 4 minutes lab becomes available. So, but in this training we have a dedicated lab, but that lab duration only 5 days, and Monday to Friday only you can use. And after that, this one, which will talk. Some worldwide course schedule you can check. Different types of training we have available, and we have a unique type of training also that is called on-demand course. What does it mean? You can learn VMware technology without any trainer instructor. So you can log into the VMware provided portal. In that portal you can see the link to access lab, links for your ebooks and small many videos. So by watching the video you can learn the new technology. Much more detailed information about this on-demand courses you can find here. So different track for the certification we have. If you have done vSphere ICM training, you can follow this track. So currently in the vSphere 7.0, associate exam is not mandatory. Advanced mandatory in 6.0, must need to write both the exam, associate as well as professional. But right now, once you done the training, you can directly go to the VCP exam. And whatever training you are doing, that has no certification. But the stuff you preparing regarding this training, that will help you to achieve this advanced your exam. VCAP deploy. Now, VCAP deploy, it's not like VCP. In the VCP, you have just objective type question. You need to select one answer, two answer, or multiple answer. But when you say VCAP deploy, you are going to get the original lab, whatever lab you right now using in your suppose this training, similar kind of lab. And in that lab, you have to fix the problems. Even problems, you need to manually fix. So this course indirectly help you to achieve this VCAP deploy. So advanced certification for the training is not mandatory, but for each track, this is a one track, let's say vSphere track, one training is mandatory. If you have done one training, then you can go even directly to the VCAP design, VCAP deploy without attending further more training. So different tracks we have. You have done the NSX ICM. You can follow the desktops, cloud management, digital workspace. Multiple tracks we have. And right now we have also option. If you want, you can write these exams by sitting at home. No need to go to the Pearson Test Center. So that option also we have available. And once you pass this certification exam, hardly after 1 or 2 days, you get another links from the VMware from where you can download these kind of digital badges as per you achieve the certification. So these digital badges we can attach in our CV. If you want, you can share it in your social media. So that is a course introduction. So basically, our today's target is to cover the second module, Introduction to Troubleshooting and Tools for Troubleshooting vSphere. This is what our today's going to cover. Second module and third module. So because of many of you doing very first time this VMware course, so I'm just starting from the basic architectures of vSphere. Many of you already familiar with vSphere working long time, 8 to 10 years, as you explained. So you can consider at a review. Rest others need to pay more attention in order to understand the vSphere stack. And then, when, as I explained, when we start networking, so before we starting troubleshooting networking module, first I will give you this little bit explanation about the virtual network, how it is different than the physical networks, so we can understand the relevant problems like vSphere cluster storage. We need to little bit understand more beyond the given contents, because this content, this training actually expect from the audience, people must at least know the vSphere ICM stuff. But this is a troubleshooting. Troubleshooting means what? Some problems we are going to discuss, not the concept. We expect from the audience know very well what is vSphere stack, along with its own features, how it works. But day to day, some problems they are facing, we're going to discuss only that part. Because of some of you are very new, so let me start with some basic understanding about the vSphere architecture. So just a minute, let me go again, share my screen with our next module. Any questions, guys, from that production module?
Girish, miss for myself, I can say that ebook I didn't get it, but lab email I got it.
Yeah, actually, one of from the VMware already noted down your attendance, they marked it, so they're going to, I think, prepare for your ebooks.
Okay.
Need some time, so you can expect in next 1 hour
Mhm.
to get links for ebook.
Okay, thank you.
So let me see. With module. Is my screen visible? Can see module 2? Yes. Production troubleshooting. So we are going to do what? Troubleshooting methods. What are the procedures? But here, when you talk about vSphere, what does it mean? vSphere is not a single product. As I explained, it is a bundle of many products. But when you say main products of vSphere, we have ESXi and vCenter Server. So while we prepare it, you must need to prepare ESXi, and ESXi is always a physical machine. It could be a blade server, it could be a rack server, but it is always physical machine. If it is a physical machine, so it means what first layer you can consider as a hardware where we have CPU, you have a RAM, you have a NIC card, and you have hard disk. On the top of that, we can install directly our ESXi as operating system. And ESXi, as we know, is the VMware hypervisor. And hypervisor terms when we use, so it means what we are talking about virtualization platform. It could be your, when you're talking about virtualization platform, it could be Hyper-V based virtualization platform. It could be your KVM hypervisors. But we here using VMware hypervisor and its name is ESXi. So ESXi as a operating system you can directly install on the top of your physical hardware. For the new person who's doing the VMware first time, you can consider your laptop. You bought your laptop without OS, and first OS you're going to install that is ESXi on the top of your physical hardware inside the laptop. So entire laptop you make it as ESXi hypervisors. So when we install ESXi, what kind of switch we get automatically from the ESXi host? Any one of you? What is the name of default switch?
Standard switch.
VSS, vSphere standard switch. So this is a software-based layer 2 switch. If you know the physical layer 2 switch, layer 2 means it works based upon MAC address. So the same thing here, we get software-based layer 2 switch. The name of this switch is, you can see, vSphere standard switch. And whatever LAN card you have, NIC, that get linked to it. And in this switch, you have what kind of port groups? You have virtual machine port. What is the purpose of virtual machine port group? What is the use of virtual machine port group? Anyone?
Communication between the hypervisor and the virtual machine.
So it provides the networking for your virtual machine. So when you deploy the virtual machine, let's say virtual machine A, having its VNIC, and this VNIC you can connect to this virtual machine port group. So without a VMPG virtual machine port group, you cannot connect your virtual machine to this switch. You must need minimum one virtual machine port group. And with that, VMPG, you can connect multiple virtual machines. Two virtual machines be connected. So these both virtual machines we have in this hypervisor and connect both virtual machines connected to this standard switch. And another kind of port group also exists in the same hypervisor. And what is that? VM kernel port group, and for command line, we can recognize it as a VMPA0. So what it is exactly? So
in the ESXi and it can connect to storage and vMotion networks.
Yeah, so we need this type of port group for multiple purpose to carry different types of traffic. To carry the ESXi host management traffic, this is the VMK0. It receives all your request info by using host client, or whenever you send any command instruction by using the vCenter server. So it is the VMK0 to receive all the instruction. So it carries the host management traffic. What you can have several VM kernel code. So whenever you create additional VM kernel, so it becomes your VMK1. VMK2, VMK1 to access iSCSI storage, VMK2 to access NFS storage, VMK3 dedicated for the fault tolerance remotion. Like in your production-based ESXi host, you can have several VM kernel protocols. So default, we have VMK0. So when you install your ESXi, during the installation of ESXi, it will ask for the IP details, IP address, subnet mask, default gateway. You have to suppose provide that during the installation. So what do you think? During the installation, when you provide IP details, such as IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, who received that IP detail goes to whom? What do you think? Anyone? Who received that IP detail? That received as a VMK0. So it means what? The physical LAN card never need any IP in the ESXi host. And that is very unique thing than other physical machine. Like in other desktop physical machine, whenever you see the physical LAN card, it means it must be one IP. But here, this physical LAN card doesn't support any IP. So during the installation, what IP detail you have given, that goes to this VM kernel default VMK0. So it means when you say VM kernel port group, like such as VMK0, VMK1, VMK multiple, what does it mean when you use this VM kernel port group? So VM kernel port group itself for WINIC, and every WINIC must need unique IP. Let's say for this VMK0, I have given 10.0.0.1 255.0.0.0 or 10.0.0.10 gateway. So now, whether the traffic generated by the VM1, VM2 or this VMK0 want to go out to the physical network. The physical network, you have connected one physical cable from this physical LAN card, and that also goes to this physical switch where you have connected your laptop or desktop cable. So from this desktop, you want to talk to the VM. The desktop sends its traffic to the physical switch, and physical switch, as per the MAC table, will forward your packet traffic to this port and received via this virtual switch, and virtual switch to the VMA, VMP. So let's say I'm using for the virtual machine 20.0.0 network 20.0.1, 20.0.0.2, and here also I'm using 20.0.0 something. So all three machines working in the same layer 2 network, same network, suppose 20.0.0.1, 20.0.0.2, 20.0.0.3, so all can talk to each other. VMs to VMs communications take place like this. And VMs to desktop, so VM sends its traffic to the virtual switch using this physical LAN card as a. That's why we use the term uplink, starting from 0, uplink 0, uplink 1. For redundancy, you must need minimum 2. And it goes to the physical switch and physical switch to desktop. And from your desktop one, you want to manage. You want to access ESXi as ESXi admin. So you need to hit which IP? 10.0.0.1. So for that, you need to provide the 10 IP address also. You can have multiple IP addresses in a single LAN card. So you can open the browser and just type HTTPS and hit this IP 10.0.0.1/UI. Provide user and password. You can get the full access to the ESXi if you want to manage this entire ESXi. So it is the ESXi hypervisor who providing this virtualization platform for our virtual machine. So you are able to create this virtual machine. So we can have multiple VMs running in each ESXi host. And when you power on the virtual machine, they need CPU, it needs to use the RAM and network bandwidth storage. These all resources, it is the hypervisor who provide. How much CPU A and B needs, provide. How much RAM they need, how much network bandwidth they need. So that is the ESXi hypervisor responsible to provide all sort of required resources for the virtual machines. So in your data centers, you could have many racks. In each rack, you could have several ESXi hosts. So I have ESXi 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. So multiple racks. In each rack you have ESXi. From each ESXi, we have minimum 2 high capacity physical LAN card attached to maintain the redundancy for my network, for my each and every type of traffic. And then we always use the leaf spine architecture in our data center. So this is a leaf level switch, also sometimes known as access level switch. So you're going to connect all the cable in a redundant way. So if one LAN card lost, still your traffic will not affect. And even you lost one entire switch, still your traffic can not get disturbed. So now we have spine level switch. Then after you can consider you have a firewall of physical routers in order to go to the internet. So in each ESXi we have several workloads. Could be virtual machine. Right now, if you are aware about, recently VMware launched VMware Tanzu technology. So under the Tanzu technology, you can see containerized based application also you can place in the hypervisor. So your vSphere pod and your virtual machine can coexist in the same hypervisors. So when you say workload, workload could be in the form of virtual machine or it could be in the form of vSphere pod. Both can coexist in the same hypervisor. So inside ESXi hypervisor, these all workloads run. These all workload continuously using CPU, memory, storage, network, bandwidth from your hypervisors. And we are looking centralized management for all the hypervisor, all the storage, all the virtual network, all the vSphere pods, virtual machine. I want to manage them all from single console. Whenever we have this centralized management requirement, we need to prepare our one of the another vSphere product, that is vCenter server, because we want to manage centrally from single console all the vSphere stack. So vCenter now, in your specifically vSphere 7, we have vCenter comes as a virtual appliance. If you go back 4.x, 5.x, we had a choice whether vCenter we need virtual machine or we want physical machine. If it is a physical machine, you must need to use window-based vCenter server. But now we have vCenter server only as a virtual machine, but it's not like we manually going to create a virtual machine, manually going to install the operating system and application vCenter server. No, it is a comes as a
change task and
virtual appliance. When we use the term virtual appliance, what does it
Yeah.
mean, guys? When you use the term virtual appliance, what does it mean?
बता दिए कृतिका
It comes as a ready-made with all required hardware.
Yes. So it comes as a ready-made virtual machine. We do not need to create, we do not need to make any kind of installation for the OS, for the application, for the VMware tools. So that is everything done by the vendor. Vendor is our VMware. So we just need to download this in the form of OVA file, not OVA file, and from OVA file you can deploy it as a virtual appliance. So suppose this machine running in the hypervisor as a vCenter server. So you might be using your desktop or laptop or your internet, you're sitting at home by using desktop or laptop and connecting to this vCenter server. If you want to manage the entire vSphere stack, so you need to connect to vCenter server. Again, same HTTPS, UDN or IP address of the vCenter server /UI, username, password. You are able to connect to vCenter server. Then the very first next component we need to create inside the vCenter server, that is your data center. We're going to see the lab if you are new. So once you connect to vCenter server from your laptop or desktop, you can see all the vSphere stack. All ESXi gives you the visibility, but not by default. Of course, we need to register. We need to add one by one all the ESXi. You could have 100 plus ESXi. All ESXi we need to register, add in this vCenter server. Then next time you just once you connect to vCenter server, you have visibility for all the hypervisors, all the virtual machine, all the virtual switches, all the storage, whatever storage available in the ESXi host. So you could have several racks. In each rack you have some number of ESXi hypervisor, and once you connect to the vCenter server, you can start managing the complete vSphere stack. So what does it mean? vCenter server giving you the centralized management for your entire vSphere environment. This is one thing. Second thing, if you want to use advanced feature like you have a vSphere HA DRS cluster, you want to use VDS vSphere distributed switch, you want to use vMotions or storage vMotion. These all advanced features, all tolerance, we get from this vCenter server. Without vCenter server, you cannot use these all features. So not only the centralized management we are getting from this vCenter server, but we're getting also the advanced features of vSphere. And when we start the HM troubleshooting module, so before we start that, I will explain a little bit the architecture of HM so we can understand how it works. Because once we understand how it works, then we can understand the relevant things, right? So your all workload all the time runs in the hypervisors. So we have sometimes problems. Virtual machine, we have VM showing in the vCenter server like orphan virtual machine, disconnected virtual machine. VM is not getting power on. So where is the problem? Virtual machines itself having some issue, or VM running in which hypervisor level we have some issues. Where is the issue? Or issue might have at the storage end. How we can identify what kind of approach we can use. Another small understanding. So let's say I'm considering here ESXi. This portion I'm considered as a physical RAM in the ESXi host I have. Could be your GB to several terabyte. And over the network, I'm accessing the SAN or NFS storage. So VM exists inside the storage, but registered against this ESXi host. So when you right click on the VM power on, it means it is the ESXi who know very well VM exists in which data store, interact with that data store, boot its flat.vmdk, most important file for any virtual machine, that is a -flat.vmdk. But this file represents as a virtual disk for your virtual machine. When you right click on a VM power on, we are accessing flat.vmdk over the network, boot it, patches all the data over the network and load into the physical RAM. So this portion of the physical RAM belongs to VM. The powered on virtual machine state or virtual machine memory state completely exists in the ESXi hypervisor physical RAM. When you power on multiple virtual machine, so it's going to give some required memory to these virtual machines. VMs1, VMs2, so you have similar kind of directory at the storage set VM1, VMs2. So ESXi providing resources such as CPU, RAM, and this storage must be made accessible for our ESXi host, available for the ESXi host, and ESXi can provide this required storage space for these virtual machines. You can say these all required sort of resources is the hypervisor responsibility to manage, continuously intercept virtual machine, requesting for how much CPU, how much memory, how much storage, and satisfy these virtual machines requirements. So I hope everyone, at least you working every day with vSphere, so you know very well how to access vCenter server console, and inside the vCenter server console, how we can see how the data center itself appear in the vCenter server. By using vCenter server, how you can create one or multiple data centers, and within a data center you can either create first HADRS cluster, or without HADRS cluster you can start directly adding or registering your ESXi host. Then later on anytime we can create HA cluster and drag and drop your ESXi into the HA cluster, and ESXi contain a number of your virtual. So once we have the basic understanding, the main components of vSphere, vCenter and ESXi, and how the virtual machine perform its IOs, how when you power on the virtual machine, it's ESXi hypervisor responsibility immediately check the virtual machine you configured with how much resources, and it requesting during the boot times how much resources, and how ESXi can grab the resources and provide these for this virtual machine. And whenever virtual machine need to perform IOPS, if you are using network storage, so it is the hypervisor responsibility to intercept the virtual machine IOPS and make the virtual machine IOPS on their corresponding their flat.vmdk file. So it could be your network storage, or we can use the local disk also as a storage of our virtual machine. If you are using what kind of storage? Local storage, VMFS or vSphere. Because vSAN storage, we are not going to buy expensive SAN or NAS storage. We just playing with a local disk. Whatever disk you placed in an ESXi host, we are using that, and that is what vSAN storage. So virtual machine taking CPU, memory, network bandwidth on the ESXi host, and also it taking storage space also on the ESXi. So it means first these kind of storage must be available for the ESXi, then we can make these storage also available for the virtual machine. So VM needs CPU, memory, storage, network bandwidth. And all these resources, it is ESXi hypervisor responsibility to manage. Continuously track virtual machine requirements and always try to satisfy the virtual machine requirement in terms of CPU, memory, network, and storage. So, right now we are not discussing all the advanced features because whenever we start the vSphere HTTS module, might be page or day, then we're going to discuss relevant architecture. When we start networking tomorrow, we little bit discuss the network, virtual network, and how it is different than the physical network, and then we can try to understand some day-to-day problems, whatever the problems we are facing. And here, right now, this is the module 2. Here we just going to see what are the different kind of approach we can use in order to quickly understand the problems, what exactly the problem and what solution we can use. Any questions from our this discussion for the audience who is new to the VMware? All right. So then we're going to start. So we have a module 2, introduction to the troubleshooting. So here we're going to discuss the scope of troubleshooting, how we can identify, use a structured approach to solve configuration and operational problems. What does it mean when you use the structured approach? Apply the troubleshooting methodology. What are different methodologies we have? Diagnose faults, make the troubleshooting process efficient. So here they're talking about troubleshooting process. So troubleshooting is a systematic approach to identify the root cause of the problem in defining steps to resolve the problem. And typically troubleshooting process involves the following steps: defining the problem. First we need to identify we have a problem. Then identify the cause of the problem. First we must need to know we have a problem. We every day performing monitoring in order to find some, in order to use some, you can say, proactive approach before the problem arriving. We are aware about this problem could be occur in the future, and that we control because of regular monitoring, regular monitoring process. And identifying the cause of the problems. Once we face a problem, what is the reason of the problem? What is the scope of the problem? One person facing, one virtual machine facing, or multiple person, multiple virtual machine, multiple hypervisor, or single hypervisor, multiple storage, or single storage. What is the scope of the problem and what the problem is? And then once we identify, okay, this is the problem, this is the scope of the problem, we need to then resolve that problem.
Sorry?
And resolving problem,
No.
that's completely up to the administrators. which right approach we can use, that is we're going to discuss. But solution you yourself are going to provide. In this training, we can only identify the problems, the methods. Okay, this is the method through which you comes to know where exactly the problem is. Okay, but how I can fix that, you need to use your own logic. What I can do to solve this problem. Defining problems. A system problem is a fault in a system, or if one of its components that negatively affect the previously working production services. As I give you the example, previously login process just taking 2 seconds, but now it's taking 1 minute, it's a long time. It means we have a problem within a system. System problems arise from creating sources, as I explained, of specifically virtual environment, which is very, very different than the physical environment. So, whenever we face any issues, so where exactly the problem exists, we need to scrutinize it. We need to, that's why now, what could be the right approach we can use? Because problem might be directly not belongs to your VM. At the VM level, we do not have any problem. Problem we have at the hypervisor level. Problem we have at the storage level. Problem we have at the physical network level. Or sometimes might be within a VM also we have a problem. So system problems arise from various sources in a virtual environment specifically. Configurations issue. Someone configured might be application incorrectly, virtual machine incorrectly, virtual machine plug in the wrong VLAN based virtual machine for group, wrong subnet mask, or might be in which resourceful, in which ESXi goes to place your virtual machines, and where we have the resource contention problem. 2 terms always we use in a virtual environment. One is called contention, another one is called overcommitment. What is the meaning of contention and overcommitment? And also, let me know if I draw ESXi with part 4 CPU. It means how many cores I have in the ESXi. If I say I have part 4 CPU, how many cores we have in the ESXi? 4 cores? In each core, as an example, I have 1.5 gigahertz capacity. What do you think? What is my total capacity I have in the ESXi? How many gigahertz? 6 gigahertz. In this ESXi hypervisor, I just deploy my single virtual machine, VM1, 1 GB RAM, 1 virtual CPU. Please guys, if you don't have any question to ask, mute yourself. Please see the sound coming from which. Because when I make a full screen, I can't see anything. I can see only this PPT. So if I deploy a single virtual machine with 1 GB RAM, 1 virtual CPU, so what do you think? This virtual machine can take from this hypervisor how much CPU? In gigahertz. If the VM needs how much CPU in a gigahertz the VM can consume, how much RAM the virtual machine can consume from the ESXi. What do you think? As per given. Anyone? What is it? How much?
1/4 it will use it.
1?
1/4 it might it would use it. If you are really 1 GPU,
Yeah. So that is what the right understanding help you. So virtual machine never going to use more than 1.5 gigahertz. The reason being simple. One virtual CPU hypervisor considered equivalent to one code. That can schedule around any one of the code out of it. So whenever virtual machine using any one of the codes cannot be used more than 1.5 gigahertz because that is what the maximum capacity of one single core. That's why if you edit the virtual machine setting and go to expand the CPU, there is the option reservation and try to reserve 2 gigahertz. Will not allow. Saying insufficient resource, you cannot allocate 2 gigahertz. And if we don't know this concept, we get confused. Why? We have 6 gigahertz. I just want to reserve 2 gigahertz for this virtual machine. Giving point the message like you do not have sufficient resource. Because in this case, we are never going to use more than 1.5 gigahertz. But let's take it is a SQL server or other server need more than 1.5 gigahertz. What you can do?
increase the
We see number of virtual CPU 2. One it can schedule here, another one here. So it can use maximum now 3 gigahertz. Similarly, maximum how much maximum it can use maximum number of vCPU? For not more than 4 without HT. Without HT, it will allow you to use at any VM level 4 virtual CPU maximum, not more than 4. But can I deploy a second virtual machine on the same hypervisor with the let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 vCPU? Yes or no? I have first virtual machine with a 4 virtual CPU, second virtual machine 4 virtual CPU. Total number of virtual CPU becomes your 8, and we have number of core 4. Is it possible?
Yeah, it is possible if it ST is enabled.
No, I'm not saying I don't have HT. And how HT come here?
The hybrid setting is like it will give a double line. If it is 6, then it will be double as 12.
So this is called actually over commitment or contention. What does it mean when we use the term over commitment? You are allocating more resources than you have. I have 4 nodes, but I have number of virtual CPU 8. So HT right now I don't have it since I host Hyperdrive. Make it simple. So in this case, we cannot allow at any virtual machines level to have more than 4 virtual CPU. Now, maximum VM can have 4 virtual CPU. 4 virtual CPU, 4 virtual CPU, even you can deploy third VM 4 virtual CPU. So this is something known as a contention. When the demand becomes more than you have, demands coming for let's say 7 gigahertz, but you have 6 gigahertz. or you have done the overcommitment. You have number of virtual CPU 8 more than the number of your physical core. Physical core we have 4, and total number of virtual CPU we have 8. And whenever the number of total virtual CPU get increased than the number of core, then CPU scheduler algorithm put a time slice 2 millisecond to 40 millisecond. Only the virtual CPU can consume the physical core, and then goes to the exit. But just at the moment, first 4 virtual CPU schedule. On these 4 core, remaining 4 virtual CPU wait, and then existing 4 virtual CPU exit, and next 4 virtual CPU schedule. So this is the kind of rotation keep continue going on. So we need to see, it's not like to have 10 virtual machine, 20 virtual machine. Every virtual machine configured with 4 virtual CPU, 4 virtual CPU, 4 virtual CPU have heavy contention. More contentions mean more weighting. More weighting means affecting your virtual machine performance. So we need to figure it out whether we have very high contention, not only for the CPU but RAM, storage, network, and because issue can become from any source. You do not have network bandwidth sufficient available in the ESXi host. You have a heavy burden storage. So many virtual machines is on a single storage. Do not have CPU RAM sufficient in the ESXi host. You need to identify. Network tags comes and they generate a heavy traffic in your network. And all virtual machines suddenly start showing slow response, slow IOPS. Recently, whatever service packages you have done at the applications level, OS level, since that time, the problem we facing. Whatever changes recently you have done, you did the patch management, you upgrade the application software or ESX, I think that you're facing this problem. Software itself, which you updating, have some bugs. Or in which hardware your virtual machine is running, that hardware will impact your own running virtual machine. So problem can come from various sources. Do not assume that you understand the problem after you identify one symptoms. So we could have CPU related issues as a resource contention. This is the only reason, or you have more than one issue which are affecting the virtual machine overall performance. The first symptom reported might not indicate the true source of the problem. Verify that nothing else is broken by performing a thorough analysis. So for that, you must need to know what approach I should use. Make sure this is the only problem we have. There is no other problem exists to my this virtual machine. We need to thoroughly analyze. CPU is the only problem, RAM is the only problem. Identifying the effects of the system problem. So whenever we have a problem, it might be affect the usability, might be affect the accuracy, reliability, performance. See effects or symptoms are exposed in reporting. And symptoms of a system problem often appears to be the problem itself. And you must look all the symptoms of a system problem to determine the root cause. In the previous slide we have seen. This is the only problem. Make sure you investigate all the things, up to down, down to top. So make sure we know very well this is the only problem, or this and this we have a problem, and these two areas you must investigate, figure it out, and resolve it. So system comes back to the normal state, stable state. Some example you can see here. Lacking symptom is the first step in troubleshooting a problem. One or more lungs on a storage array are not visible to a specific ESX site. So you have a ESXi, multiple ESXi, and as we know, they are using a sand storage. The sand, we could have multiple lungs with a different capacity, 10 terabyte, 4 terabyte. So these lungs appear as a lung 0, lung 1, but here I can see only lung 1s. Because of somewhere you provided wrong information regarding your ESXi. So whenever you ask some storage space, some storage from the storage team, how they can map the accurate lungs to your ESXi host, some information, identity, they must need to know about your ESXi. Might be they ask for the ESXi MAC address, ESXi IP address, FQDN, or ESXi WWN, or ESXi other identity. And somewhere while providing this identity, requested identity about your ESXi, make a mistake somewhere. So the lungs not correctly mapped to the specific ESXi. Same lungs available, visible for multiple ESXi, but not a particular ESXi. One or more lungs on a storage array are not visible to a specific ESXi. The lungs that are not visible are not presented correctly to your ESXi host by the storage team from storage end because of the information being provided that is not correct about your ESXi WWN, EUI, extended unique identity, or could be FQDN. So in that case, we need to figure it out. And configuration error in the storage array itself, storage level we have a problem. And there are two separate teams for the handling vSphere stack as well as storage. So vSphere stacks has no problem, investigate all the things. Then it means what? You must need to make a request to the storage team that we have checked across all the vSphere stack. There is no problem in our end. Problem must be in your storage end. A pathing failure occurs between the ESXi host and storage. You might be didn't have redundant path, or some of path we are using as active, some of path we are using as a standby. You have a concept active, standby, and some path we lost from the specific ESXi. The network fails between ESXi host and storage array. Which particular network you are using for the storage? Make sure that is available from your ESXi host where we can't see a particular VMFS data store, NFS data store not accessible, visible. But from the rest of the other ESXi, it is visible, accessible. Even we have a dedicated model. This is just example. We have a dedicated model for storage related many things we're going to discuss. You cannot connect to vCenter server by using the vSphere client. vCenter server service fails to start. The vCenter server appliance has a corrupted database because you know very well vCenter server write each and every configuration, its own configuration to the database. PostgreSQL database, built-in database. If the database level functions occurs, the network path between you and vCenter appliance is a down, because vCenter running a VM in one of the ESXi host, it is a part of your management cluster. So in the vSphere stack, we have this kind of concept. You can make a management cluster and resource cluster. What does it mean when you use the term management cluster? When you use management cluster term, are we talking about something new technology? When we using the resource cluster term, are we using something unique or different technology? No, we're still using in the backend HADRS. HADRS. But why we call for it management cluster? Why we call for it resource cluster? Management cluster is the one where we keep only management virtual machine, like vCenter as a virtual machine, VRA as a virtual machine, NSX as a virtual machine. Several VMware solution comes in the form of or VMware authorized partner also gives you its solution in the form of virtual machine. So these kind of virtual machine we always run in a management cluster, and client-based workload we put in a separate cluster. So in the management cluster, 2 to 4 ESXi hosts recommended. But in the resource cluster, every day the number of ESXi hosts, the number of HA cluster increase. Because more customer comings to put their workload in your data centers, every day you mean almost every week to month you adding more ESXi. So resource cluster, you can expect heavy cluster where we have customer based workload running and it is constantly increasing in terms of number of ESXi, number of clusters, HADRS clusters. We could have, let's say, vSphere 7, in a single HA cluster, we can have 64 ESXi. And you have cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster multiple. And all these clusters we managing from this management cluster. So network from your end to vCenter server is a problem somewhere you have. You are not able to connect to vCenter server. vCenter server using PostgreSQL database to save all its configuration. The database get corrupted. Specific services like vSphere client services, when you use it, these services right now we have within the vCenter server, and only these services get corrupted. So you are not able to connect to vSphere client to the vCenter server. Gathering supplemental information, ask questions to gather additional information to define the problem. Whenever we face a problem, it's not like the magic, immediately we understand and we fix. Sometimes it might be possible as per your experience, but most of the time we need to follow the proper procedures. And one of the under the procedure steps is ask questions. What kind of changes done by the user at the application level, OS level, since what date and time they're facing this kind of problems. User level, VM level, ESXi level, network level, storage level. And then, can the problem be reproduced in your POC environment? Can we create again the same problem manually in order to understand what changes if we make, we face this kind of problem. So I can introduce this kind of problem, I can demonstrate to the other people also. So we as a team working together, so for the new persons can also understand if this kind of mistakenly done by the users, by the admin, this kind of problem we will face. Provided repeatable means to recreate the same problem and a way to verify the problem, how we can resolve it. Because manually can be created, yes, so we know very well if we do this incorrectly, we face this kind of problem and we can take this particular configuration in order to remove this problem, solve this problem. And once we're done, don't forget to document that for the future reference. If you face this problem, solution is this. You have written in detail what you have to do, when you have to do. What is the scope of the problem? As I explained, one user facing problem, multiple users, one VMs, multiple VMs. Determine whether the problem affects one or multiple objects. Was the system working before? Since you're facing this problem? If so, investigate what changed had done in your environment, what configurations changed by someone in your environment. Is the problem comes in the category of well-known problems? If yes, then it means what? If it is a known problem, we might find some reference for the KB articles. Here, kb.vmware.com, KB article 501 numbers, where they completely describe if this is the problem and this is the solution, all the steps you can find. Or might be if the problem is in the category of non-problem, we can find sort of solution in the release notes. So VMware has its one release notes for each of its technology. Release notes vSphere, release note Horizon, release note VR. In the release note, we can find some well-known bug fix. VMware identify the problem and they give you they will fix this existing bugs, and that they gives you the detailed information in the release notes. Like if you install the patch number this in the ESXi to overcome this kind of issue. Sometimes they say you need to go to that file, the vCenter server, edit it and make these changes in order to get rid of this kind of problem. So consult reference such as KB article, release note to determine if the problem is documented by the VMware or not. Another example we can see, person who working with a vSphere for a long time, 2 to 10 years. Please read this and let me know if you understand what could be the problem, why I'm not able to power on these virtual machines.
Data storage has no data space.
Viewing and interpreting diagnostics information, you view and interpret the diagnostic message in a way or in a log files and the root cause. Now you can say again what you are saying. If you read this carefully, if you hold your mouse pointer here, it opens this detailed report.
They only, spacing.
And figure it out.
Spacing.
What could be the problem?
Data storage.
Yes, now you can explain what you said. What do you think? What could be the problem? Who have been working experience with vSphere 2 to 10 years and try to answer what could be the problem by reading this message.
A data store has no space. That's why this machine is not able to get power on.
Now see, when first time you create a VM, install the operating system, you must need to allocate the resources such as CPU, memory, storage. So VM, when you create and deploy it, you must need to provide the data store. And during the deployment time, how much space it needs? Create a folder with the same name as per the display name of the VM, and within a folder, it will all the virtual machine relevant files. .vmx, MB, RAM, vmware.global, flat.vmgk. So while you deploy, how much space it needs, it already captured that space from the data store. But why now when you power on, that time you get this message. If space is the problem, it should not allow you to deploy the VM. When you deploy the VM, it will ask for the CPU memory storage. You provided the storage. And when you done successfully, how much space it needs, it already captured that space from the storage. So why when you power on, it gives you this message. How much space it needed, that it already captured when you deploy the VM. That time you pick up this storage. Anyone?
So basically,
Remember?
we have provided the thin, might be we have provided the thin provisioning during the provisioning of the machine, and now all this space has been occupied by the other VM, and we don't have a free space. Another reason it could be like we don't have this free swap space over there to power it on.
That is what the see if you see this message, failed to extend swap file. So if you don't know the concept of swap file, how you can figure it out what the problem is? You're directly saying, oh, something storage, we do not have space. But what exactly it is? Because VM wants to deploy, that time we have all the required space, then only it allows. So when you say extend, failed to extend swap files, so it means what? There are some files which get created automatically by the hypervisor when you power on the VM. And one of the file is swap file known as VSW. Every virtual machine contains this swap file, and this swap file related to important things. One is the size. What could be the size of the swap file?
Memory.
I have 10 GB RAM. What could be the swap file size for this VM?
Memory size.
By default, if you don't have any other configuration, yes, it is correct. So, and second thing, its size is 10 GB as per the memory you allocated. So, second thing, when you turn on this virtual machine, that time only hypervisor create this file. And when you shut down and power up the virtual machine, hypervisor delete this one. So when you turn on the VM, hypervisor first check, can I able to create this file? Because this file needs exact 10 GB as per the memory. Memory is 50 GB and this file is also taking 50 GB. So in this case 10 GB. So if in the storage you have only 9 GB free space left, you get this message, and because hypervisor not able to create swap file and it not simply allowed to power on the VM. So if you know this thing, you immediately can do something. So you at least can power on the VM successfully. Now let's see what things possible we can do. Right now I want to power on the VM without increasing the data. data store space, because increasing data store space take a long time. Need to generate a ticket from the storage team also need to take approval, and then they're going to do its own job. So might be take 1 or 2 days, give you the more data store capacity. But I want immediately to do some sort of solution on my own end to power on the VM. What I can do?
You can attach the same VMDK file to other running VM, and you can increase 1 or 2 GB, and you can attach it back to the virtual VM and power it up.
How it has concerned this value with VMDK disk?
I
There's no concern with
I
that
believe
of VMDK.
we can do this memory, right? 10 GB, we can create, put as a 1 GB memory with the edit configuration, right? And then we can try to power up.
So I also don't want to reduce the memory, because memory configured as per the application running inside. If you decrease the memory, it will impact the application. Application owner suggested the RAM I need that much, so according to the application owner, we provided this RAM. And also not you can decrease. It means you violating the SLA with your customer.
Gage, for this we can do one thing. We can just migrate this VM, we can migrate any another VM from this data store. So we must have the free space on data store, and that way we can power it down.
Yes, correct. So for that, we can use the storage vMotion. Move the virtual machine to different storage where you have sufficient required space. This is the one approach we can use. And if you do not have any kind of SLA, yes, one of you explained, we can reduce this total memory also. 6 GB, that to 6 GB. Or we have one inner solution known as a reservation. Don't forget. So by default, we have, as per the allocated memory per file is 10 GB minus reservation. And by default, we do not have any reservation at the VM level. So if you want, edit the setting and do the reservation. 6 GB. What is reservation? Guaranteed amount of this older time hypervisor provide from its physical RAM.
Three solutions.
So whenever
One,
you do
remove the
reservation,
memory, reduce the memory, vMotion, storage vMotion, reservation
so
vMotion.
my file size
तीन हो
will
गया
Team.
एक टेस्ट
allows you to see power of the VM, and this 6 GB reservation is not visible for the end user. End user only can see from the guest operating system 10 GB. And we know very well this VM can take only 6 GB from the physical RAM of the ESXi host, and remaining 4 GB, if hypervisor doesn't have, can provide from the swap file. Right. So these kind of concept must need to know. That's what I say. vSphere ICM course, if you have done, so you can understand these all kind of things. vSphere ICM training means what? You know the complete vSphere stack. And you can manage this kind of problem management. You can easily understand this directly belongs to your swap file. What are the possible things I can do?
So Krish, I have like one question in mind.
Please.
Can we just, if a machine is having a thick provisioning, can we just change it to the thin provisioning, and then we can do it we can power it on after this? Is it possible?
So it is possible, but this problem has no concern with thick disk. Please understand that.
Yeah, that I got it. But my concern is
Yeah,
that
you can do
if
that.
you want to free space, if you want to do some kind of free space, then we can do this migration,
Yeah.
or we can just change the.
Yes, it is possible. We can anytime convert thick to thin, thin to thick. But thin to thick, you can do directly at the VM level. You need to shut down the VM, then only you can do. There is an inflate option directly we have. Inflate, and this way you can convert thin to thick. But thick to thin, then thick further as category eager 0, AG0. You want to convert eager 0 thick to AG0 or thick to thin, thin to thick. So we can use storage vMotion, and also you do not need to shut down the VM. While you performing storage vMotion, it will give you option any to any you can do. And storage vMotion also not a choice. Then you need to shut down the virtual machine and VMKFS tools. Commands begin VMKFS tool. To this command you can do the complete disk level management. Like sometime of a requirement, just I want to create flat.vmdk directory without creating a VM. For thicken, when you're going to create eager 03, it take a long time. 100 GB easily can take 10 minutes. And someone request 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte. So in advance, I can create few disks. Later on, when I got the request, I provide this to attach to the VM, pre-created disk through VMKFS tools. These sort of solutions we can use if we know the concept. So guys, let's take a break, tea break, come back, we're going to continue from this. Is that fine? Because it is 8 past 11.